So let's talk about something really interesting. It's this powerful idea about how to create real, genuine human connection. And it comes from the chef Andrew Zimmern. But here's the twist. This whole philosophy, this amazing framework, it wasn't born from success. Nope. It was born from some pretty epic failures.
I mean, this sounds beautiful, right? This is the goal. Whether you're at work or at home, this is what we're all aiming for. This idea that true service, true hospitality, is this perfect mix of being smart and having a big heart. It's a noble ideal for sure.
But, and this is a big but, what happens when you're just running on empty? You know those days. When you don't feel particularly compassionate, or, let's be honest, all that intelligent. How in the world are you supposed to give something away that you don't even have for yourself? This is the real puzzle we're going to dig into.
And that brings us to what you could call the hospitality paradox. It's this fundamental tension, right? You want to be there for other people, but the reality is, sometimes you're just not feeling it internally.
You've heard this a million times, I'm sure. You can't pour from an empty cup. To build a culture where people genuinely care for each other, whether that's customers, coworkers, or your own family, you have to have that care inside you first. You got to build it up for yourself before you can even think about giving it to someone else.
Now, this is where Zimmern flips the script in a really cool way. He says, forget this idea of being a human being. It's too passive. He wants us to think of ourselves as human doings. Hospitality isn't just some feeling you have, it's something you actively do. It's a series of actions, and that one little change in wording, it changes everything.
So, to really get what happens when you mess this up, let's look at a couple of his stories of failure. And these aren't just little slip-ups. These are masterclasses in what not to do.
Okay, so picture this, a restaurant out in the Hamptons. For 16 weeks in a row, every single Sunday, the same guy comes in by himself, sits at the same table, orders the same thing, watches the sun go down. So on the very last Sunday of the season, he finally brings a guest. Zimmern sees his chance. He walks over, makes a big deal, and says, "I just want to thank you for being my best customer." And the guy's reaction? Total rage. He pulls Zimmern aside and just unloads on him, saying this restaurant was his secret, his one tiny escape from his life every week.
And here's the kicker. Zimmern's real goal wasn't to thank the guy. As he puts it, he just wanted to show off that he had noticed him. It was an ego play. He made a huge assumption about what that customer needed, and in the process, completely blew it. He made it all about himself.
All right, let's get to story number 2. This one takes us to a swanky Italian restaurant on the Upper East Side of New York. Zimmern's just filling in his manager. He's amped up, ready to prove himself. You can probably see where this is going. Another disaster in the making.
So a waiter comes up and says, "Hey, there's a guy smoking a cigar in the back and a couple of other tables are complaining." Zimmern, full of what he calls piss and vinegar, just marches right over there and tells the guy to put it out. Doesn't ask, doesn't try to find a solution, he just operationalizes. The man looks at him and asks, "Are you telling me I have to put my cigar out?" Zimmern says, "Yep." The guy and his whole party get up and leave. The next day, there's a fake union picketing the restaurant. Turns out the customer was Tony Salerno, the head of the Gambino crime family. Whoops.
These stories, they're more than just cringeworthy anecdotes from the restaurant world. They're symptoms. They point to a much, much deeper problem that was really at the heart of all these failures.
And here's the brutally honest truth. Back then, Zimmern was deep in his addiction. He admits it. He didn't have the caring gene because he couldn't see past himself. Other people weren't real. They were just, as he says, shadows moving around him. He literally didn't have the capacity for real hospitality because every ounce of his energy was just about surviving.
So how did he turn it around? Well, it wasn't some bolt of lightning spiritual moment. He was homeless, desperate, and just trying not to die. In treatment, they told him he needed a spiritual experience to get better, and he was like, yeah, that's not going to happen for me. But then, someone offered him a different way.
And this right here, this is the secret sauce for this whole explainer. You don't have to wait to feel the right way to do the right thing. He realized he could take simple, mechanical actions, just go through the motions, and that eventually those actions would actually change how he thought and how he felt. The idea that action can come before belief, that's a game changer. So, okay, that's the big idea. But how do you actually do it? How do you act your way into right thinking? Well, let's get into the practical, step-by-step toolkit for making it happen. So here it is, the human doing toolkit. Number 1 is be the dog, which is all about just being present with someone, no judgment. Number 2 is invest in the loss, basically taking a small hit now for a bigger win later. And number 3, co-regulate before you operationalize. This one's about connecting with emotion before you jump to solutions. Let's take a closer look at a couple of these.
First up, be the dog. I love this one. What does it even mean? It's about offering pure, non-judgmental presence. Just think about a dog, right? Your dog doesn't care if you messed up at work or just robbed a bank. It just comes over, puts its head in your lap, and is just with you. That's the goal, to just be with people without an agenda, without trying to fix them.
Now let's talk about that third tip, co-regulating, because it's so important. This slide nails the difference perfectly. Imagine your partner comes home totally freaking out. They lost their phone, their wallet, everything. The operationalizing response, our default mode, is to try and fix it. Well, did you call the office? Did you retrace your steps? But the right response, the co-regulating one, is to just meet them in that emotion first. Oh my God, that's horrible. That just sucks. You connect with the feeling before you even think about finding a solution.
So when you put all these little actions together, you start to see the bigger picture. This is how you start to transform from a passive human being into an active human doing. See, by consciously choosing to do these things, to be the dog, to co-regulate, we are actively choosing to be mindful. We're forcing our brains to see the people around us not as problems to be solved or shadows in the background, but as real, complex people with their own stuff going on.
And look, at the end of the day, this isn't just a business strategy. It's so much bigger than that. It's a roadmap for being a better partner, a better parent, a better friend. It's about building a life that's actually based on real connection and empathy. One small mechanical doing at a time.
And that really just leaves us with one final question. This isn't about some massive overnight personality transplant. It's just about taking one small action. So what's it going to be? Which one of these doings are you going to try today? Maybe you'll just be the dog for someone who needs it. Or maybe you'll try to co-regulate instead of jumping in to fix things. That one little choice, it could really change everything.